Hello, everyone. I want you to join us right now. As you can see, my very, very good friend on the right, Johnny Wimbrey. He's written a book called The Millionaire Mindset. You know, during this time in this place where we are in the coronavirus, where millions of people have lost their job because of what's going on with the economy, where millions of people are filing for unemployment compensation, millions of people are nervous looking for a relief check that looks like it might not happen before Christmas. Millions of people facing bankruptcy and foreclosures. And but there are millions of people who are looking for answers. They say there are three types of people that will come through this experience. There will be millionaires, billionaires, and there will be witnesses. Johnny Wimbrey has written a book called The Millionaire Mindset. And you have to become a millionaire before you become a billionaire. Johnny, how are you?
I am incredibly well. How are you, my friend?
Millions of people who are looking for. What are you doing, Johnny?
Hold on. I'm sorry. 1 second. I am sharing your video.
Millionaires, and there will be Johnny now, please.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. If you could just turn that other volume down.
Is my volume loud?
No.
You know, I'm gonna do a replay on this. Facebook has changed your settings. How's that? Is that better for you?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. My daughter comes to my studio and changes my stuff up when she does auditions. Mr. Les Brown, I am excited to be with you. I am holding my baby in my hand, Building a Millionaire Mindset. It is on the bookshelves today, forwarded by the one and only, look out, Mr. Les Brown. This is my first hardback book. Excited. Number one publisher in the world, Mr. McGraw-Hill Publishing. So that smile on your face makes me proud.
Because I'm very proud of you. Ladies and gentlemen, he's also the author of the book From the Hood to Doing Good. Not only is he a speaker and an author, a father, and a great husband, he is my spiritual son, and he's been changing millions of people's lives around the globe. He's an electrifying speaker. Let the record show. Boy, when Johnny speaks, angels stop flapping their wings. Let me tell you, he knows how to get a group together to motivate and inspire them, just everyday people. And so, Johnny, when you think about this book that you've written at a time where many people are frightened and feeling hopeless and fearful, what inspired you to write this book, and why are you releasing it now?
You know, I think the timing is incredibly great. I've been working on this book for about 3 years now. And during COVID-19, I really put a lot of pressure on. And that's when I got the deal with McGraw-Hill. The purpose and the reason for this book in a timing like this, you know, when you hear the title, you know, Building a Millionaire Mindset, I really want people to focus on the build mindset part. It's not about making $1 million. It's about sustaining and passing it on, that generational wealth. Everything that I've used in my life to create the mindset, everything that you have dumped into me, all the resources, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars of personal development and seminars and events and personal coaching. Not only how, you know, I've built an organization, you know, to do over $1 billion in 12 years, helped over 40 people make over $1 million in home-based businesses. The mindset, not all of them kept it, Les. I've seen so many people reach a level of success that they should have been able to sustain and pass it to the next generation. And I see so many people lose it. So when you get the mindset of a millionaire, you don't just gain it, you maintain it and you sustain it. So I talk about the principles. Once I became a millionaire, Les, I have never not been a millionaire. I've never gone backwards from being a millionaire since I've been a millionaire. That's going to be in this book, how I did it.
And you know, that's not common, because 8 out of 10 millionaires have filed bankruptcy. So absolutely. I want to talk about the maintenance program and what's contained in this book and why people should buy it, because there are people who have lost everything because of the coronavirus. They've lost their jobs, or they've been laid off, or they've lost their homes, or in the process of being foreclosed on. and their businesses have closed because of the impact of the coronavirus. So what are the things in there that can help them to develop the mental toughness and the techniques and strategies and how they can build themselves from the inside out?
There's 18 pillars in this book. From the first chapter to the last chapter, it is set up in a way that will take you through the book. And at the exact same time you're going through the book, there are exercises that are going to be in the book to hold you accountable. One of the things that you've taught me, just right off the bat, when things go wrong, you can't go with them. So I talk a lot about that, the mindset to stay on the path. You talk about, parking and pulling over on the side of the road. How do you stay in motion, in the midst of adversity? One of my favorite quotes that helped me out when I was young was by William Ward. He said, adversity causes some people to break, but it causes others to become record breakers. I'm talking to the record breaker that's inside you throughout the entire book. But and I have my favorite pillars depending on what kind of mindset I'm in for that particular day. But right now, when you teach on self-inventory, I go into depth on self-inventory like I did when I was in acting school. If you don't know you're not going to know who you are and what you bring to the table. And one of the things that I hated about inventory when I worked at a hamburger joint, Les, is I hated counting ketchup packets. I hated counting, hamburger buns. It just didn't make sense to me. But it wasn't supposed to make sense to me because I wasn't the owner. The owner had the millionaire mindset. I was the employee. I didn't understand. Why do I gotta count these ketchup packets, bruh? Like, listen, just throw them away. Why are we counting things that are bad? Most of the time, we only want to count the things that are good, the things that are, are assets. But you got to count the liabilities as well, because if you don't identify the things that are inside you that are holding you back from the millionaire mindset, you're never going to get it. So I take you through the process of not just self-inventory, but you're counting the good things and the bad things that are inside you. And what you do is you manage your weaknesses and you maximize and you put all of your energy on your strengths. And there are a lot of techniques that I talk about that in the book. But one of the things that's really big for me right now, just because of the headspace that I'm in, there's one pillar that I talk about that's hitting me right in the mouth right now. And, it's really about, doing things for the future you. Doing things where the future you will say, thank you. Thank you so much for making that decision 5 years ago. Putting you into the mindset that when you make a decision today, that the future you will say, thank you. That right now, Les, in the midst of COVID, is hitting me so hard. My daily.
Powerful. That's powerful. Doing things for the future you.
Yeah. And there's a whole chapter on it, talking to the future you, building, your life right now. So the future you will say, thank you. There are so many things in my life, I'm the future Johnny, from 10 years ago, where I'm like, why did I do that? Like, what was wrong with you? Why did you do that? But at the exact same token, you could be saying, thank you. Like, Johnny, thank you for investing tens of thousands of dollars when you were in your early 20s to have access to Les Brown. Thank you for making that sacrifice, Johnny. Thank you for, pushing yourself into the deep when you didn't have it. Thank you for asking and swallowing your pride and borrowing money just so you could participate in your future. Thank you. There's a whole chapter in here that talks about building and a mindset and an atmosphere where the future you will say thank you. And that exercise is very powerful.
You have had the experience as a kid of being in a homeless shelter. Your background is very charted with bad experiences and dysfunction. But you found a way to get out. You found a way to take your life in another direction. What was the defining moment, that moment when you looked at your life, you looked at where you were, and you looked at the future you looked at what could be if you made some different choices? What was that moment that pushed you over the edge in another direction?
One of the biggest moments, Les, is probably the most famous story that people talk about for me is, the funeral when my friend was murdered. I was 18 years old. I was a junior in high school. My friend's mother, the night of the wake, she gets in front of the casket in front of all of us. And she said, I forgive the young man who killed my son. And I just remember having a moment, and my moment wasn't bigger or better than anybody else's. I was just paying attention. And it's the difference between, being present and being here. And I talk about that in the book as well. The conscious mind, how do you create an atmosphere where you're present as much as possible? And that happened to me at 18 years old. I had the most mature moment of my life up to that age. And I was like, I don't love him like that. I don't love him the way his mother loved him. If she found forgiveness, if I go out and get revenge, I'm disrespecting her. And I had a gun when I was thinking about that. We were going to retaliate. I had a gun on me at that event, and we were going to retaliate after. So that was a major moment for me. Another major moment was, Les, I just had the audacity to believe that if someone else deserved it, I did too. It was, if you hashtag Me Too before 5 years ago, you'll see me. Like, I did hashtag Me Too, and I many quotes on Me Too. And when I say Me Too, I'm just basically saying, if Les Brown can be the greatest speaker of his time, then me too. If somebody else is going to become a millionaire today, then me too. And I've never been the type of person to chase a dollar amount, but I've always chased the mindset that produces the amount that can take care of me for the rest of my life. My father was a trash man. And, my dad, one of the greatest moments that I can think of, and I dedicate the entire book to my father. This entire book is dedicated to my dad. It's a very personal story that I share in the introduction. My father looked at me one day when I was maybe in 4th grade, and I handed him my report card, and I had a C. And a trash man looked at me and said, in front of his friends, with his shirt off in the front yard playing dominoes, he looked at me and he said, a C is average. All you got to do is show up. And I just remember, he said, anybody can be average. He said, I don't want you to be average like me. And that, if you really think about everything you know about me, Les, for the last 15, 17 years, my message is to fight to refuse to be average. I believe average is the very top of the bottom. And that's what my dad was telling me. He's like, listen, you just show up to be average. Why would you do that? And that woke up a giant inside me when a trash man looked at me and told me that.
Mm. When you think about people that you've worked with and those who took the message and ran with it, but the majority don't, what is it about them that decide to walk away from the possibility of creating the millionaire mindset, creating a larger life? What is it about them that they miss, that they just don't get from us?
There is an entire section of this book, I believe 3 chapters, where I deal with that. One of the major things, Les, is the difference between a producer and a procrastinator. And it's a self-inventory. If you don't understand the producer that's inside you, the procrastinator has every opportunity to defeat that producer. You produce or you procrastinate. There's no in between. When you step into something, when you step into a goal and you step towards it, that is a step of production. Thinking about it is procrastination. And one of the biggest lies ever told to be successful is busy is successful. That's a lie from the pits of hell. Busy does not mean productive. You can productively be moving in the wrong direction of your goal. So are you productively, producing towards your life, or are you a procrastinator? I don't believe there's an in-between. In every moment, there are people who are listening to us right now. The way you're listening to me right now, you are a procrastinator or you are a producer. There is no in between. When you draw the line that fine and you recognize that self-inventory, when you start dealing with you. When I wrote this book, the funny thing about this book is I do an entire chapter on producers versus procrastinators. Now listen, I came up with this information 12 years ago in that particular chapter. Mm-hmm. So have I been producing or have I been procrastinating when it comes to writing the book?
Mm-hmm.
So I confess in the book where most people will say, no, you were producing. No, don't pat me on the back to make me feel good. Tell me the truth. I wasn't producing. I was procrastinating. Why? Because I was thinking about it. Les, I remember one of the very first things that you've ever taught me from a distance, even before we met. You talked about, some of the greatest songs will never be heard. Some of the greatest books will never be written or read. Some of the greatest plays will never be produced. And you said most people will selfishly, and you used the word selfishly take it to their grave, to their grave. And that hit me. And I made a decision. Listen, I'm going to produce. I'm going to build. I'm going to create a mindset not only for myself or my generations, my children's children can benefit from it, because I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to take the greatness that's within me to the grave. The greatness that's within me is in this book. It is going to be a no-brainer when you get the book.
You have overcome a lot of adversities. And if you had to crystallize 3 things that you would want people to walk away with when they read Millionaire Mindset, what would those 3 things be?
The very first thing that I want you to walk away with more than anything else is the fact that you deserve it. Believe that you deserve it. Like, really subscribe to the mindset that if someone else on this planet deserves to be successful, then so do you. Just have a Me Too attitude. Just really, really subscribe to the mindset that if it's possible for someone else, it's possible for you. So belief in you. You know, think about all the things that you believe in that are outside of you, that you have no control over. You have control over you. Why would you believe in something else that you have no control over more than you believe in yourself that you have 100% control over? So the first thing is belief. The second thing, and I talk about this in the process of self-inventory, is self-forgiveness. I've seen a lot of people, Les, I didn't even know you when you did this, but I guarantee you, when you parked, I'd be willing to bet there was some element of self-forgiveness that needed to happen before you can get back into motion. The only reason we stop, the only reason we park is because we feel like we did something to stop ourselves. And instead of, and you say this, the worst thing you could do when you're going through hell is stop. Well, the only reason you would stop is because of personal forgiveness. You feel like, I'm not worthy of moving forward. I made this mistake. So number 2 is your past doesn't have to determine your future. That's number 2. So belief in yourself. Number 2 is self-forgiveness. Your past doesn't have to determine your future. And number three, for me, and I talk about this in the book, but I'm going to say this is number 3 for me. Wayne Gretzky said this. He said, 100% of every shot never taken never goes in. So 100% of every shot never taken never goes in. If you're not shooting at something, nothing's ever going to happen. So the first thing is, I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to forgive yourself from anything in the past, because it has nothing to do with you stepping into your future when you get this book. And number 3, I don't care how many times you swing. I don't even care what you're swinging at. I just care that you swing. I care that you're shooting at something. Why? Wayne Gretzky said it, one of the greatest hockey players of all time. 100% of every shot never taken never goes in. So if you want something to go in, you got to shoot. Take the shot. They're going to laugh at you anyway. They're going to talk about you anyway. They might as well talk about you shooting, not wishing. Take the shot. Those are my 3 things.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just joining us is Johnny Wimbrey, the author of From the Hood to Doing Good, and his brand new book, The Millionaire Mindset. And it's a book that will transform your life. Every chapter is designed to take you to a place in yourself that you can't go by yourself. How can people get it? This is the first day of the launch.
This is the day, December 1st. It officially launched around the world. McGraw-Hill has put the books on all bookshelves. If your local bookstore doesn't have it, call them, let you know you're coming to pick it up. They'll order it. It's on Amazon, of course, Amazon.com. I hit #1 bestseller on new releases on Amazon. The first 5 days it was in pre-release. So as a pre-release book, I'm happy. I'm excited about this, Les, because I've never really, this is big for me, man. This is really big for me. Battered women's shelter, felony arrest, failed the 2nd grade, special ed when I was in 6th grade for 1 day. I say 6th grade for 1 day. I tested out. I made a lot of bad decisions, man. I let a lot of people down. So for me to be able to say that I'm holding this in my hand today, December 1st, 2020, and it's available in every major bookstore in the world, you're talking to somebody who should be in prison with his brother serving 40 years right now. I should be dead with some of my friends. I was doing what they were doing. But by God's grace and mercy, I'm here. So here I am, December 1st. My baby has launched. #1 bestseller on Amazon on new releases. And I desire for you to get the book. And when you get the book, you join my BAM club. BAM is Building a Millionaire Mindset, #BAM. We stay in touch with each other through your read. You'll know what I mean by that when you dive into the book. So we're creating a BAM squad, a global BAM squad. My goal, Les, is to drip into as many people's head as possible to create 1,000 millionaires while I'm still alive. And again, it's not just about the money. The money is just an ingredient. It's like chocolate cake, Les. If I say chocolate cake, I'm saying sugar, but I'm not just talking about sugar. So when I say building a millionaire mindset, I'm talking about money, but I'm not just talking about money. Money is one ingredient to building a millionaire mindset. There's 17 other pillars in here that will teach you how I did it again and again and again.
His name is Johnny Wimbrey, electrifying speaker, great friend, my spiritual son, great husband and father, and the author of this book that people are talking about already and been waiting for, hungry for, Millionaire Mindset. You can get it on Amazon and any bookstore around the planet. Johnny, I'm very proud of you, and we've got to do some event virtually and change some lives, but I'm encouraging everybody to get that because it's something that I highly recommend. I wrote the foreword for it.
Yes, you did.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, right there, baby. The
yes,
very top,
indeed.
Emmett Smith, endorsed by Emmett Smith, Cowboy MVP, still leads the NFL with rushing yards. Bishop T.D. Jakes did an endorsement. Evan Carmichael, Jan Miller. Jan Miller is actually the literary agent for Tony Robbins, Dr. Phil, Joel Osteen, Bishop Jakes, many people. Nancy Lieberman, she's the first female inducted to the Hall of Fame for the NBA. My good friend Holton Buggs, so many other people. If I don't listen, I plan on being here for a very long time.
Yes.
But if I don't do anything else, Les.
Yes.
It's in the book.
I'm done. All right. He did that. Make sure you get it. Millionaire Mindset by Johnny Wimbrey.
Love you. Thank you so much.
I'm very proud of you. Love you. Give your wife and the children my regards. And stay hungry.
Let's go.
All right.
Get the book. Tag me. Take a picture so I can share it. Love you, Les.
Love you. Take care. Bye
I'll
for
see
now.
you on your show today at 4. I'm coming to watch you today at 4 o'clock.
All right. Very good.
God bless you.
Yes, God bless you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Wimbrey, Millionaire Mindset. Get the book now. It's going to the New York Times bestseller.
Let's go.